Hey everyone, welcome to Post2Post. My name is Neil if you're new. Happy 1,000 episodes. It's the first time I've technically hit this mark. Now on the original Post2Post channel, which started at the beginning of 2017, I was making videos on that channel for a very long time up until the end of 2019, early 2020, when I decided to transition to this channel. And I only got up to like 890-ish episodes, I think, on that one. And so we never get to hit the 1,000 mark, but since transitioning to this channel, I've produced more videos per day if you look at the average, and we've been able to hit 1,000 videos a lot sooner in the same kind of time span, I guess, if you will. So I wanted to take a look back and get a little nostalgic and look at every behind the scenes photo that I have of every iteration of this set that you see behind me. I've lived in multiple different places since the beginning of 2017. The background has changed immensely. We're going to start at the beginning, go through chronologically from the beginning of 2017, actually 2016, before I even released a video of what the original set looked like before I had one subscriber, before anything, up until today and what it looks like now. I like to change things up quite a bit, maybe every 6 months or so. I get bored, I get visually bored, so I like to kind of change things up. It's not necessarily better each time I do it, but it's just different. It's just like rearranging your furniture in your living room. Sometimes you just need to do it. So let's start off at the beginning. And there are some pretty dingy photos in this collection, so you're gonna see it raw, you're gonna see literally everything. The first photo, which I'll bring up on the screen now, is from December of 2016. This is the point, actually this is about a month after the point where I made the decision to start the channel. So in November 2016, I made the decision to start a YouTube channel. I ordered some things. My parents were asking me what I wanted for Christmas. I told them, so they helped out with a couple of things. I think they gifted me the mixer, which you see on the table here. So in December 2016, I was starting to set up. I was getting the pieces. I was trying to figure out a background and what I was going to make content on. So the photo that you see here was taken in between Christmas and New Year's of 2016. So you can see a small little desk, the laptop. I'm literally using a bed sheet, a nail or tacked to the beams in the basement. You can see, duct work up above, random boxes off to the side here, an old table leaning up against, like this is literally in an unfinished basement with a concrete floor. And it's just like, that's not an ideal YouTube studio, but that's what I started with. And there was some pretty cringy audio work and cable work going on there. But anyways, let's move on to the next photo, which is actually kind of the camera view or the test shot of what I envisioned the set looking like. Just to begin with, I was taking some sample photos with the camera, and I wanted to see what it looked like, and I was trying to frame it out and stuff. So it didn't look exactly like this, but it essentially looked very close to this. So this is what the first Post2Post video ever created looked like, and I get nostalgic, okay? I don't have any of those jerseys except for the two on the left, but the two on the right I don't have anymore. I get nostalgic looking at this old stuff because even though those were the days when I had no brand, I had no personality really, I talk like a robot. Those were the good days because that was the start of the adventure. And the adventure is ongoing, and it's great every single day, but I get really nostalgic looking at the original days. Now the next photo is, I think, just a photo of my screen, or my laptop screen, that I sent Jason, actually. It's like, I filmed my first video, I'm editing it right now, this is actually happening. And I think he said, you can actually see what he said, I need to see the test. So this was, I don't know. Yeah, this was not a test video. This was the first video I ever made on YouTube was over 30 minutes long. And I think I was predicting when certain players were going to retire, maybe? I can't even remember. Now moving on to the next one. This was in January of 2017. So the following month, I actually lived in Fredericton, Brunswick. The first photos that you saw were taken at my parents' place in Prince Edward Island because I was there visiting for Christmas. But this photo is in my apartment in Fredericton the next month after I went home or after the Christmas break. And this Fredericton is roughly 4 hours away from Charlottetown, where my parents live. So this was the same setup, essentially, just in a different location. It was in between my living room and my kitchen in my apartment. I had a very small one-bedroom apartment. It wasn't very big. I had to make it work, and that was the only place that I could possibly do it. I'll skip to the next photo so you can actually see the rest of the apartment. That's the living room over there on the left. I had to eventually rearrange things, which you'll see here in a little bit. You can see the camera off to the left there. I think that's just off to the side. That's not usually there. So every time I wanted to film, I would have to set the camera up on the tripod in the middle of the floor. Once I'm done, move the camera. It was an annoying process, but that's how it started. And then this is how it's kind of cleaned up a little bit. Now I've rearranged things at this point to be a little more ergonomic and stuff. I've got the green screen up there on the background, and that green screen stayed on that wall for, geez, probably like 5 months. And I was living with a girlfriend at the time, hence the flowery, girly rug. That's not mine, for the record. So that was a big sacrifice that she actually made, was allowing that big, giant, ugly green screen to hang on that wall. But yeah, this is tight quarters here. And then moving on to the next one, this is, the view. This is what I saw every time that I filmed a video. And every single video on the original channel for the first 60, 70, 80 videos was kind of this view right here. And that's, that's what I saw every day. I did some live streams from this setup and everything. And then the next photo was kind of the week before I moved out. You can see lots of stuff in the background there, lots of totes and boxes, and you can see more of the green screen and whatnot. And my editing computer is off to the right in this little nook. And I guess, I just get so nostalgic looking at this, and it means nothing to anyone other than myself, because I'm the only one who's ever been here, other than Jason, if you're familiar with Jason on the channel, on the podcast. But yeah, this was it. And then moving on to the basic final couple days, the final couple days here. The furniture is gone, the rug's gone. The only thing that remains is my mattress where I can sleep on, because the bed had been dismantled and whatnot. A TV over in the corner, the lights, the green screen, and everything else is basically gone. And then I started to take down the green screen, and that was the end of that little adventure at that apartment. So around that time, and sorry, that last photo was from June 2017. Now, and around that time, I moved back to Prince Edward Island. So I've been back and forth to Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick a couple of times in the past decade. I currently live back in Fredericton. It's a long story. But this was taken in July of 2017, and we're back in the basement at the parents' house. And this was when Dad started to really join me for a lot of videos. And that's when, my favorite time on the channel was making videos with Dad. In the early days, I think near the end, it started to be really tedious and time-consuming, and it felt more like a job for both of us. But in the early days, maybe like the first 2 years, the first year and a half was pretty great. So same position as the very first photo that I showed you, actually, but I put a green screen over that white sheet in the background there. We've got a burgundy, purple, whatever tablecloth, and two of the oldest chairs in the history of the world that don't even match. And I'm surprised they even held us. But yeah, that was the setup in July of 2017. And then also in July in 2017, this is kind of the test shot. You can see Dad sitting there as well. And we both of us barely fit under the table. And then this was also taken in July 2017, actually. So we're back in Fredericton now, but this is in Jason's basement. And we wanted two locations. We called this Studio B. So I was traveling back and forth between Fredericton and New Brunswick quite a bit, just for visits and stuff, because I wanted to make videos with Jason as well. And we set up our own filming location down in his basement. It's unfinished. It's still unfinished. And we just, we had the extra space down there, so why not make a little studio for it? Again, we're not using professional tables or anything. We just used this random computer desk that I had and kept it down there. We've got the lights hanging upside down from the rafters. And yeah, so this was Studio B, and we filmed a bunch of videos there, actually. But moving on back to PEI, this is back in my parents' basement. A lot of basement work here, okay? It was pretty, dingy in the first couple of years of Post2Post, but this is the same basement from the very first shot. Now, the original desk was off to the right in this. You can't see it because it's gone, but it's off to the right. That's where that section was. Off to the left, this is in July, so the same month, I decided, you know what, that initial setup of that little desk ain't going to work. So we got a computer desk that they were no longer using, which was kind of in like a V kind of shape. And we brought that over to the other side, completely gutted that whole section, took out the boxes and the totes and whatever, and had all that stuff over there, and just made it our space. So we put the green screen on one side of that back wall or whatever, and anything that required green screen work would be filmed in that direction, and we eventually put the table there, and then the podcast would happen at the U or V-shaped desk off to the left. So that was kind of our setup. That's the decision that we made, and then we started to put stuff up on the wall. So what we did was we basically took black, curtains. I probably bought like 8 or 9 these individual sets of them or whatever, and then I used tie straps to follow the water pipes all around the basement, and then just kind of hang them up as a full background. It actually worked really well. It's very basic, very inexpensive, but it came across on camera okay, actually. And we had different lighting and stuff at this time. So we really just kind of playing around with expanding the studio a little bit, trying to make it look a little bit more professional, even though it wasn't in any way. And then, and again, this is another photo. And we're getting ready to film a podcast here, actually. So Dad would always sit on one side, I would always sit on the other. And this is also in July of 2017. And then in December of 2017, so we know fast forward basically half a year, and we've got lots of additions here. We've got a different filming location with a white little desk. I can't even believe we used that. Like, that would barely stand up. And sometimes we both sat at that desk. We got the jerseys in the background. We still got the green screen stuff up there. And at this point, we had to open the P.O. box. So we were starting to get some letters. We opened it to get letters, to hear from you guys, to hear your stories, why you like a certain team, where you live, and what got you into hockey and all that stuff. But people just flooded the P.O. box with packages and gifts, and we were so grateful. And that's what you see kind of up above there. Up above the green screen, a couple of towels and some banner things that people had sent in. So it was a really cool addition to the set. Not only that we were hanging up jerseys that we got and stuff and little knickknacks and hockey merch, but stuff that you guys sent in to add to the set. And behind me here on the shelf, I know you can't see because it's out of focus, but a lot of the stuff that is on that shelf has come from you guys as well in the background too. So I always try to, even though you can't really see it, I've always tried to put a lot of stuff that you guys sent in the background and made sure it's always a part of the set because that's really important to me, and I really appreciate your kindness there. So moving on to the next one. This is in March of 2018, so fast forward about 3.5 months-ish, and the set is really developed now. We've got jerseys hanging all the way around, and at the time, I didn't have a lot of Adidas jerseys. I had a lot of Reebok jerseys, and currently how I hang my jerseys in the background, where I hang one and then use the fight strap to hook the other, the bottom jersey there. Well, back then, I couldn't do that because the Reebok jerseys didn't have fight straps. So I had to take string and run it down from a different hanger, running down through, and then kind of offset them. It was a pain in the butt, but it looked good. I think it looked good. I think it looked awesome, but it was definitely quite cluttered. I mean, look at the floor. It's still concrete. I've got a pillow to set my feet on while I film. And it was just, this is very basic, guys, okay? Nothing professional at all going on here. And that's why I always encourage people, if you think about starting a YouTube channel, it doesn't need to look professional. You don't need to film in 4K if you're just starting out. You don't need fancy lights or, fancy mics or audio equipment. Just make the content. Make the content, put yourself on camera, get yourself out there and practice and learn and get comfortable with speaking and stuff, because that's another reason why I started the channel, is because that I had a fear of public speaking, and I was just not a good public speaker or speaker in general. I would slur my words, I would mumble. I still do that, but I feel much more comfortable with how I speak, and I'm at the point now where I don't care if you don't like me or if you think that I sound weird or I'm annoying to listen to. I really don't care. But then I did care. I really cared about it. I was obsessed with trying to improve myself. And now that we got to this point, 5 years later, I've seen the hateful comments. I've been called every name in the book. I've had death threats. I'm just numb to it at this point, and I just don't care. But I still encourage you to put yourself out there and go through that process. If you've got an idea for a channel, do it. It doesn't matter if it's professional, just do it. Moving on to March 2018. So this is, I guess, the same month, different angle. So you can see lots of other jerseys down there. A general same setup though. Nothing really has changed other than maybe swept the floor, but that's about it. And then April 2018. So this was the following month, more jerseys hanging up. I think we decided to bring down a TV that didn't end up working out. So we didn't actually use that, but you can see some of your packages in the background there. Some more things being flushed out on the desk, like some signage and whatnot. And I think the lighting has remained the same. We added some clamp lights on the ceiling, but I don't remember using those in videos. Maybe we did. And then I had to throw this photo in here. This is from July 2018. If you guys don't know who Andrew Pillock is, he has two channels actually. His channel, which is huge, I think it's got over 200,000 subscribers now, where he reacts to music and stuff like that. But he started out on YouTube making hockey videos, Andrew Pillock Hockey, I think it's called, where he specifically talked a lot about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he still does. He still makes videos on there. I think he's got around 13,000 or so on that channel, and he's a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And we had been friends at this point. I had gone to Toronto to hang out with him, and he was visiting PEI with his family. So I know Andrew and I are good friends, and we filmed some videos together, and we were about to film a video here. And I said, listen, wouldn't it be funny if I wore a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey and hat, because I'm a Canadiens fan, and you wore a Montreal Canadiens jersey and hat because you're a Maple Leafs fan, and we did a funny intro, and that's what we did. And I this is the first time that he put it on. He was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that I'm wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey and hat. I feel gross." And that is how I feel every time I put on a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. So I just thought I'd share that. Andrew, if you're watching, sorry, not sorry, but that was a fun video. I'm glad we made that video. So this was in November 2022. We decided to change things up a little bit. We got new mics. We wanted to have a little bit more professional audio, and we gutted the background, took all the jerseys off. We changed the desk so it was kind of like literally reversed. So the bottom of the V or the U was kind of almost against the wall, and then we would each have our own kind of symmetrical section on the side. So we'd each have the same amount of space. We actually had different chairs at this point. We weren't using those old wooden chairs. I've got a chair on wheels. Dad's got a padded chair over there. And then we started to build up the set from there. So again, added more jerseys. This is in November of 2018, by the way. And the mic arms are there. I have no idea why I used those extensions and the mic arms, completely unnecessary, and hid the jerseys. But I used them for like a year. And looking back, I'm like, idiot, Neil. That looks so stupid. But anyways, yeah, so we got the mics there. And I think this is when the channel really started to get some speed behind it and stuff, and people appreciated the conversation, the genuine conversation that Dad and I had on regardless of the topic. I like making videos by myself now. It's great. But when I started on YouTube and I started making hockey videos, I always wanted to have an additional person in the video, because I think regardless of people agree on a point or whatever, it's always good to have a genuine conversation versus just one person spewing to the camera by themselves. I've always appreciated as a consumer to consume content where there's maybe a more of a genuine conversation, like a podcast or something, versus a video like this where I'm just talking to you like an idiot. So anyways, this was November 2018. And then this is also November 2018, same day. I'm just kind of lining up the shot and getting the framing right and whatnot. And then 2018, again, November, same month. So we've added some black to the top of the desk, and then the front, very basic. Like I think that we took a glue gun and put those on there. Okay, this is very simplistic style of things happening here in the studio. And we added the lava lamp, which a lot of people liked. I should bring that back, actually. I'm not even sure where that is. It's here somewhere. Added some jerseys in the background, but we wanted to have it like not dark, but just basic. We didn't want a bunch of color or like a silly wood desk. We just wanted it to be a black background, a black desk, and then have us stand out a little bit with the jerseys. And then this is March 2019. So we've really kind of jumped, I guess, about 5 months here. And I used to have all the jerseys hanging up in this area off to the right, and I used to have it by division. So on the right is the Atlantic, and then next to that is the Metro, and then the Central, and then the Pacific, and that's how I used to hang the jerseys. I still have them hung that way, but in the closet actually back there, and you can't see inside, but it's back there. They're all done by division, so if I'm looking for a team, I know exactly where to go. March 2019, so same month, and we've upgraded the camera at this point and also the lights, so we've got a little bit more lighting and whatnot, and you can barely see, but there's international jerseys hanging in the background there. All those international jerseys that you guys have sent us over the years, we always used to hang them up there so we could see them. They weren't on camera, but they were always there. And then March 2019, so still same area. This is kind of the view from behind the desk. I've got some notes there probably for a video or a podcast or whatever. Mixer off to the left, don't even use that mixer anymore. And the mic that you're looking at is actually the mic that I'm using now. It's a Rode Procaster, and it's an XLR mic, not USB. And then moving on to April 2019. So I bought a light that would be a little bit smaller. So this was an LED light versus a, how do you know what, there was 4 bulbs in whatever those lights were before. But this was a flat lay LED light. Actually, it's right behind me, back there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's back there just giving some light back on the jerseys. I need to change the background, but whatever. I'm always changing stuff. So you can see the very poor job that we've done on the desk, putting the black stuff or black fabric on there. And that's the view of the opposite side. Like I said, we got some international jerseys over there and stuff. Again, still in the basement, still very basic. And then this is May 2019, so we've added a little bit of color in the background, some red, some blue, and setting the stage for color. I like color. You can see color here in the background. I actually have the color light turned off in the background now, but there's a little bit of color back there. I like RGB lights, so this is when I really started to kind of play around with it. And then this is June 2019 when the boys came. So we've got Joey off to the left, we've got T-Park next to him, and then Kale, who you might know from the Vesper Hockey channel, is now renamed Life of Austin. and then Mika from Finland off to the right. And we were filming lots of videos. They were visited for a week. We filmed a ton of videos. And then this is the kind of view that you saw from the other direction. Now the table's actually changed at this point, and we've moved it over and away from the wall where it used to be. But yeah, you can see what we see, which is a bunch of unfinished floor and walls, random jerseys, and just a lot of mess. And this is June 2019 as well, so this is the same day, or maybe the next day, and Chris is trying some gross, I think, pastes from Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we've got Mika on the left, T-Park, and then Chris, and then Joey. And then here's where we transition to a completely different location. This is November 2019, so I moved back to Fredericton at this point, and I'm living in a basement apartment, actually. And this is when I accepted a new job in Fredericton, and I uplifted everything and moved back to Fredericton, and I'm trying to make things work here in a completely different way. No more videos with Dad, and just kind of going solo a little bit. So I added some foam paneling on the walls. I'm using a standing desk here, and this was kind of be my background because I was in a very limited space. If I go on to the next photo, which is also November 2019, this is the other side of the room. This is where the camera sat and the mic, and where a lot of those initial videos were filmed, or at least the angle. And you can see some lights there. And I don't even have curtains at this point. I've just got like tote lids blocking the light up there, which is kind of cringy to see. But then this one, November 2019, I've started to flush things out. Got the RGB lights going. I think this actually looks pretty good. This is a clean setup. There's some cable management that needs to be done. But yeah, this is a very clean setup, and one of my favorites, actually. But the next photo is, again, another location. Well, technically, you've seen it before because this is Jason's basement. We've decided to up the game here in the podcast. The podcast really took a hit because Dad left, and we weren't really sure what we were going to do with it. We thought about stopping it, but Jason was the one who started the podcast with me. Like, that was his idea. So we thought, well, we can't stop it. Let's pick it up and let's get you back in the shoes that you were in before. So we decided to transform his basement a little bit. We put up brick paneling on the wall. We got his friend here to build us a table, and this is the process of us kind of going through this. This is January 2020, so just before COVID hit. And we built the desk, which you've seen on the podcast channel, which, the podcast is over. We're no longer doing that. We might consider bringing it back in the future, but right now it's done. But yeah, the table's still there, and this is us kind of constructing it. I don't think I've ever shown any of these photos in this video, by the way. And yeah, we're just kind of trying to align it, making sure things are symmetrical, making sure we've got lots of space and plenty of room for guests as well. And then in same month, so January 2020, we don't even have the walls properly attached to the back. We've just got them hanging up there just to kind of get a perspective of what the future view will look like. So we've got some, I don't even know why those lights are there, but they're there. And then same day, actually. So this is kind of the view of the camera. So we had a TV we had the camera fed into a TV, and that TV pointed at us, and the camera was just above the TV. So we could see what we looked like while we were sitting at the desk, which was very helpful, actually. So I think that's what we were doing here. Now, the next photo is kind of the way back zoomed out photo of the entire room. You can see the background. You can see the TV that we would look at that I was just talking about. You can see the lights. There's a lot going on here, but this was a fun time as well. Now, fast forward to April 2020. We're dead into COVID at this point. I'm working from home, and I've changed up the view a little bit, or the setup. So I've got my work computer off to the left. I no longer work at that job. I have a different job now, but that was my work computer at the time. I've got some more sound paneling. You can see the camera up there above the screen, and then that's fed right into the monitor so I could see myself and make sure that my focus was correct, because at the time I was only using a Canon 6D to film, which is only 1080, and it did not have focus while filming a video. So I had to get the focus right before I started filming. Pain in the butt. Anyway, I had upgraded to, or maybe downgraded to, a mic here at this point. I kept the two good mics at Jason's place for the podcast, and then I used this pod mic, I think it's called. But you can see on the screen, that's the view that the camera sees. And I know it's really hard to see, so I'll go to the next shot. Actually, no, that's not the shot. But again, this is another upgrade to the background here. I've got 3 monitors, which highly recommend if you can do it. And then this is one of my favorite setups. I loved this setup. I needed a new chair at this point, but yeah, it was great. And then the next photo, love it. Cable management, huge issue. But the lights, the cabinet, the stuff in the cabinet, everything else that's going on, the Saturn V rocket, yeah, this was a vibe, as the cool kids say. And then in August of 2020, so summertime here, I think this was during the playoffs just beginning or something because I was live streaming. So off to the left is my live streaming setup. I can see the game. I can see the chat. I can see the scores above. Obviously, the setup on OBS of what you guys would have seen in the live stream. And then I had that view duplicated of the game, or the monitor rather, off onto the big screen there. So I think Jason actually joined me for this as well. That's why the mic is, there's another mic off to the right in the bottom right of this frame. Now the next shot is in August 2020, so same month, but I've kind of changed things up a little bit. I moved the monitor over to the left. I've lowered the table. I've brought over some lights. I don't know why I had those lights on warm setting, but that's not how they were. But I was tired of standing, so I needed to sit. I think I was having back problems at the time, so I decided to lower the desk and kind of take a different approach. So that's what I did. And then that's basically how it ended. I started to tear it down at that point because I moved. Because in September 2020, I moved into a new place. So this first shot that you see here is technically taken in August, but it's September. And it's in September 2020, and it's looking into this room, the room that I'm in right now. So this is on the second floor. You can kind of see off to the right in the bottom corner, there's stairs. And yeah, so this is the room that I currently film in, that I'm in right now. And then this next photo is when I started to bring stuff in. There's just loads of stuff, right? I've got 2 tables, I've got totes of wires and monitors and just random stuff, not even including jerseys and hats and all that stuff, just random stuff. So I started to bring it all in. So before I actually go into the next photo, what you see here, where that desk is in the background, is actually where I'm sitting now. So those windows are right here for me. I'm looking at the windows right now. So you can kind of picture actually where I'm sitting in the room currently. Now the next photo is looking off to my right this way against that wall. So in the back left, you see that little awkward, like little nook area? I don't know why that's there. I can barely put anything in there. I actually have my work desk over there. You'll see that in maybe a little bit later, but this was the setup for probably a year before I changed it. So I would work over there at that desk and film this way, looking at that wall there. And that was the best looking set. We'll get into the photos, but that was a good time. And then I started a different job about 7 months after this, and I had to change it. But anyways, look, there's just stuff everywhere still, lots of stuff. And then this next photo was September 2020. Again, just trying to set up the background, get the lights in place, trying to make decisions on where things should go, what I wanted the background to look like. So I had some few jersey racks I put back there with all the jerseys and some hats and whatnot. Still trying to figure out everything else. There's still totes and everything everywhere. And then this next photo is October 2020. I've got the racks set up a little bit better. I've got some scarves up there. I got a random lightning bolt light on the wall. I don't know why that's there. But I got the hockey net, which is one of the favorite additions I've ever made to the set. And unfortunately, it's no longer in the set. It's downstairs on my back deck, actually. But yeah, this is it. You can see everything here. And this was a cool setup. I really like this one actually a lot. Now this next one is the same month, but different directions. So we've got things cleaned up, lots of totes out of the way. Still, cable management is obviously an issue, but yeah, this was a good setup. Now moving on to October 2020, so same month, and I've switched things around again. Now I've got my jerseys over to this side. Like this is kind of like where I'm sitting, where my desk is right now is where the jerseys are. Now I've got a different desk over there with a different computer because Jason was, I think we were maybe playing some games or whatnot. We wanted to have a second desk for him, so we changed things around a little bit. And then this was same month, October. I decided to change things once again. So lots of changes, okay? Lots of changes. So in this photo, you see the same, that wall over there to my left right now currently, and I started to get some stuff from IKEA. So on the far left, you see a wardrobe. People always ask me, where did I get these? That's the ones that you see here in my shots off to the left and to the right. I've got 2 of them. People always ask me, where did I get those? How much were they? I got them from IKEA. They were $50 each, and for $50, a wardrobe that big with it's just a gutted wardrobe. It didn't come with shelves or anything. I love it. So IKEA, and then the shelf to the left is from IKEA. That desk is actually from IKEA. That other little shelving unit is from IKEA, and I wanted it to be symmetrical. So this is the process of me trying to make it symmetrical. So I had the desk in the middle, and then the 2 identical shelves on the right, and then I think, yeah, so the next photo is October 2020 as well. So this was looking in the other direction. I added some lights in. The monitor setup had changed a little bit, but that's the view that I had for a long time. And then this next photo is from November 2020. This is from when I did my jersey collection update video. And people ask me how I did it. This is how I did it. I had a ceiling fan hanging above me right here. I had the little hooks coming down where you control the speeds of the fan and the light and whatnot. So I brought my new green screen up, the Elgato one, and I hung the jerseys from the fan, and I twisted them up, and then I let go and I let them spin, and I filmed it on the green screen. So that's how I got that effect in that video, if you've ever seen it. If you haven't, please go check it out. Technically, it is out of date because some of those jerseys I don't have anymore, but it was a fun video to make. But I learned a very important lesson during that video. This was a great idea. The execution was awesome. I think the finished product looked amazing. I'm very proud of it. But it was so much work that I would never do it again. I don't think. It was unbelievably time consuming. This took weeks to make. So while I do think it was a good idea, I don't think I would do it again. It's just way too much work. Now, the next photo is from December 2020, and I've moved another desk, actually. I got a new desk, which is a longer desk. Don't even use this desk anymore. But that is where I'm sitting, basically, right now, but on a different desk. And this was like this for maybe 6 months or so. And then December 2020, same month, and that's just from a different angle. So you can see some jerseys back, you can see some jerseys in the wardrobe and some other things that have changed. I got a new random light on the desk. I don't know why that's there. And this is the last photo that I took before I changed things into Megadesk. And I made a video about Megadesk. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the idea was to kind of gut everything and rearrange everything so I could kind of split the room in half, because I started a new job around early July of 2021. So that's roughly, 7 months ago or 8 months ago, or whatever it is. And I wanted to have a better setup for work because I work from home currently. And I couldn't have a bunch of jerseys in the background and stuff when I'm doing conference calls and video calls with, important people. So I couldn't have that. I needed to change things up. So I created Megadesk and I split it. So this side of the room was hockey stuff and that side of the room was work stuff. And that's how it remained up until 3 weeks ago, I think. And then I changed it because I was tired of walking in and just running into a desk in the middle of the room. So I changed things up, and the next photo that you'll see here is how it looks right now. Now, there's a lot of stuff everywhere. I know the cable management is very embarrassing. Okay, it's bad. I need to clean it up. But this is it. I didn't clean up for you guys. Okay, this is literally what my set looks like right now. I just decided I don't care what you think, and I don't care if there's, if you are gonna judge me for having a little bit of mess. I really don't care, so whatever. But this is how it looks like on a day-to-day basis. I didn't clean it up. It's not supposed to look all clean and pretty and stuff. This is what it's like. So off to the left, there's a desk where I take some pictures of things, and that's why there's some mounts or some arms and stuff up there. Those are for when I film unboxing videos and stuff. I haven't filmed any from this location. But yeah, there's a light there that I have shining down. There's a bunch of random stuff underneath that I have for some photography reasons for work. Up above, you can see the fan. That's where I hang all of my reverse retro hats. I don't use the fan, so it's a lovely spot to hang hats, actually. And then off to the left is what you see, just off to my left here, is the wardrobe and the little section where it holds the shelving unit stuff. And then the jerseys as well back there. That's going to change eventually. That's just kind of a temporary thing. My Saturn V rocket's up there. I love space guys. The light. And then off to the right is this big light here. And then off to the right, beyond that, is my work desk. So in that little nook, I sit in that little nook and I look this way, but there's a computer set up there for all that stuff. And then that over here on this wall is empty. There's not really anything over there. It's just a little kind of table with a printer, which I don't have printer paper for. But yeah, that's it. That's the way it looks. So now when I walk in, I can not run into a desk. I've got a big open space just to kind of not feel crammed, basically. So there you have it. You're all up to date. You've seen every behind the scenes photo of that I have, actually, but basically of every single set that I've used since I started it in December, technically 2016 on the channel. And it's never been perfect. It's never been professional. It's never been pretty, but it's always kind of changed in a way where I felt it worked for me. And sometimes it didn't work for me, like the Megadesk thing that worked for me for a while, but ultimately not really a great idea. I prefer the open space, and I think that's what's fun about the journey on YouTube as a creator. You don't necessarily do everything right anytime, but you learn a lot of lessons along the way. Sometimes you get lucky and you do things right. Sometimes you do things wrong and you learn very quickly. But I think as long as you're progressing and you're trying to make yourself better or trying to make your your production value better or your delivery better, whether doesn't have to be visual. You don't have to change your background every 6 months or month or whatever. If your delivery as a person is better and that's what you're concentrated on and that's your strength, that's awesome. As long as you're growing as a creator, I think it's important. If you become stagnant and complacent and just kind of just sit there, I think it becomes unenjoyable, and I think it becomes work at that point. And I've been doing this for, I guess, over 5 years now. Has it been 5 years? Yeah, over 5 years now, technically. And it's been fun. Like, there's been periods where I've taken long breaks. I think August of 2019, I didn't make a single video. I just needed a break. I was burnt out. And I think that happens to all curators. I've never hated doing it. The only thing that I've ever done that I've come close to hate doing is the podcast. And that's because it was so much work. It was such a time investment that it wasn't fun anymore. And that's why that might not come back. And it's also difficult because Jason now has a child, and his basement has been transitioned a little bit to something else. And I don't have a space here to have the podcast, so I could make it work, and we could make it work here and stuff. But the timing, like every week, it seemed to be a different time and stuff, and it was just starting to become a bit of a frustration, I think, for both of us and for everyone involved. So we realized at that point that we couldn't deliver to you guys a consistent product. There was audio issues as well. It's like lighting and audio issues, and it was becoming a nightmare. That's where it is right now. It's not coming back anytime soon, but we would consider it maybe in the future. But yeah, that's what it's like. There's no perfect setup. There's no perfect set. It's just kind of growing and trying to get better. And I have no idea what the next iteration of this set will look like. I have to change the background here. There's not enough color lights for me personally, so I got to move that jersey rack somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, maybe over there. And I kind of like the old days when I had the jerseys, lots of jerseys up in the background. I don't think 4 is enough. 4 jerseys is not enough, so we need some more. I need some more representation of some teams up there in the background. So I've kind of started doing that, but if I remove the jersey rack, there's a corner right there. I'm not sure if you can see it. So this wall goes, oh man, I can't even do that. The perspective's all weird. This wall goes like this. And it's going to be hard to kind of hang jerseys from there because it's just a wall. I don't want to ruin the wall by putting a bunch of stuff on it. So I need to figure that out. So I appreciate your patience with the background, and it's not perfect, and it's not. I don't know if it'll ever be perfect, and that's the thing. And it's always fun though. Like, ultimately, the goal is to have a house, and ideally a detached garage with a loft above it, and that loft is strictly the studio, and I can build it exactly like I want, and it should never technically change. It's always going to look consistent and stuff. But for right now, I live in a townhouse basically, and I'm just renting, waiting for the market to crash on the houses so I can potentially buy a house. Just waiting. I appreciate your patience throughout the years, regardless if you were here for a week or here since I started on YouTube. I really appreciate your patience, whether it's for the background, video, audio, whatever it is. I'm always trying to improve. So I would really like, if you've got a couple of minutes, this is a long video. We're like, 40 minutes or something like that. If you've got a couple more minutes and you want to leave some suggestions down below in the comment section of how I can improve the channel, whether it be content and specific videos, audio, maybe you think there's an issue with the audio, the video quality, myself personally and how I deliver content and some things that I could improve on, or different things that I could do, let me know. And I also just want to extend a really big thank you to those who have been watching my stealth video ones. Those were, they're very different. They're extremely different than my actual current content, but they've received a lot of positive feedback, and I really, really appreciate that from you guys. So if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're, they're long videos, but they're different and they're fun to make. And there's not going to be a stealth camping video every week or maybe even every month, but I like doing them, so I'm going to keep doing them because it's a personal challenge for me. And I just appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the videos, regardless of what the videos are about. I really appreciate your viewership and if you're subscribed, I really appreciate that. Any likes, any comments, and yeah, we hit the 1,000 mark of videos. Technically over 2,000 videos. There's only technically like 890 episodes on the first channel, but including other videos that weren't considered episodes, podcast videos where there's over 100 and some podcasts, 120 or something like that podcasts, Patreon videos, and then regular episodes on this channel. Over 2,000 videos since the beginning of 2017. That's a lot of time to invest, so which even more time is the time that you've taken out of your day to watch me, and I really, really appreciate that. So hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching my 1000th episode. If you have any questions about any of the photos that you've seen in the video, let me know. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed a little behind the scenes, and I'll be making a Patreon only video here soon, actually giving a video tour of this room. So if you're interested in that, there's a Patreon link down below. I've been talking for like almost an hour. I need some water. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Adios.